preparing to live stream right now. Can you still see me right now?
Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to the ROONS MIZZ Arsenal chat. I'm ROONS.
And I'm Miz.
We come at you. Fuck it, we'll do it live every Friday to talk about all things Arsenal, the good, the bad, the corrupt, the unfair, the unjust. What the hell is going on in the Premier League these days? Miz, what do you think?
Nonsense. That game against Wolves the other day, we got a lot to talk about because, you can't always blame the referees, and I don't like to do that. I've been a referee. I wouldn't want to be blamed for the loss of the game, but the referee really botched that game the other day. And VAR, the court of arbitration, we got stuff to talk about. We're going to recap the United game, the Wolves game, what's going on with just the team in general, and look ahead to tomorrow. And we got a game against Villa that we absolutely have to win. As usual, we have to win again, and we should have won on Tuesday. I mean, before we get to United, let's talk about Wolves. I think Wolves is probably the bigger story. The United game was a little flat on both sides. There's back and forth. But the Wolves game,
really a low blow for the team. But the way I'm looking at the whole thing is that was kind of like a karma game. Because Wolves knew that we were the better team. Nuno Espirito Santo knew that we were the better team. They knew that we could have beaten them handily, and we're really playing well. And then past the allotted time in stoppage time in the first half, and then we lose a player and give up a goal. It just ruined the game. You just spiked it right there.
He killed the game. He killed the game going into the second half. We're coming into the second half a man down, and not just a man down. It's like we're already level now, and we got to play the next 45 minutes without a center back for a bogus foul. I mean, like you even just said a few minutes before we started. I mean, it wasn't even a foul. Like how when you look back on the replay, he barely nicks with his knee. How is he supposed to stop himself when the forward crosses his path? I mean, it's a terrible decision. And then to send him off.
So,
watching
it live, my first instinct was fucking David Luiz.
Of course.
Always. Behind because he was a step behind. So I don't blame the referee for making that call. I think any referee in the world would have initially made that call. And I can even see the red card because if you trip someone from behind when they're like one-on-one with the keeper gonna score, yeah, it's a red card, I think.
It's denying a goal scoring opportunity. Sure.
Yeah, on purpose.
It's the main rule for the red card.
Yeah. So the initial call you can't blame him for. But then the whole thing about VAR is why do we have it if you can't look at it? And every PK looked at no matter. And then so you look at it and there's not any angle of that where you see that David Luiz fouled him. And
totally.
I think the rule too is incidental contact. Like there needs to be a clear-cut rule of if I'm kicking through the ball and I kick your leg as the defender and I fall down, is that a foul on the defender? It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. No.
I kick you and I'm in the box and I fall down and scream. How is that a foul on the defender? I mean, you got to defend. You stick your foot out. You didn't kick them. You didn't make contact with them. They made contact with you, which is clearly what happened, if that even happened, because it seemed like his leg went behind him, hit David Luiz's knee, and then he flew down and really made a meal out of it. I mean, all of this stuff, I don't expect a ref to see that while the game is going on. But then why VAR? And how are these people watching VAR and what are they saying? Why didn't he go take a look at the screen? Like, there's a million different things that VAR is supposed to be there for.
And is it like they're just not even contemplating it after the fact? Like the FA, are they just backing the referees so that they don't have to own up to it like on their own that they made a mistake, but like that's fucking bullshit. Like dude, the referees make mistakes. It happens. Like I've repped a number of games. It's very quick. It's super hard to get a penalty right.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a split second to make a decision, but the great thing for them is they have a fucking video assistant referee that they can go look at the board and look at it again.
Yeah.
It makes no sense in my mind. Why have it if you're not going to use it? If I had that ability when I'm in the middle of the game and I had to be able to go look at a screen and be like, oh, what really happened? Let me see it from 5 different angles.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously you're not going to do that for a foul in the middle of the park. You're not going to do that every time, but for a PK that will clearly change the game. And correct me if I'm wrong, but do you ever get the sense that sometimes there's PKs, and this even before VAR, but the ref is like, well, that would change the game too drastically, so they're hesitant to call it and they don't call it because they just feel like if I give them a PK right now and they score a goal, then it's almost unfairly giving them the game. You know,
well,
it's
totally.
changing
the
game too much. And whether or not that's right, because the rule is the rule, but you feel that refs are like, that'll just change the game way too much, and so they don't do it.
Well, and I know this is like how when I've refed, and you know, you don't want to give a penalty. It's rough. It's a rough call. Like even if it's very clear, you don't like to do it because it's one of those things. But I just can't understand his mentality on, first of all, we were like almost at 4 minutes of stoppage time in there. I mean, it's very far over the limit of where he should have stopped the game anyway. There was an obvious break up in the field where he could have easily blown the whistle.
He had it in his mouth.
He did. It's like,
what do you just kind of like, let me just see how this plays. And it's like, there's got to be a rule on that too. It's like, if it's stoppage time, do you let the play go? Like, do you give advantage or not? But I mean, you saw like in the Liverpool Man U game, it was a scrappy game. There was no real good passes. Then finally, Mane gets a crisp through ball. He's in, and it's like right on the stoppage time number. And the ref like while he's like taking a step goal, and you're like, what the hell, man?
Yeah,
like,
and it's just
the other.
It's just like, I know the referee doesn't win and lose games for us, but like in general, but you got to look at the bigger picture of that. Like going into the second half, we're down a center back. We have to make a decision to bring somebody off and bring Gabriel on. I mean, we brought Laka off.
Yeah.
And so
you know,
he was playing well. And I mean, we blew chances in the first half that we should have scored, that we should have been up 3-0 at halftime anyway. But then, you know, the Leno one is a fluke that happens to goalkeepers sometimes. His muscle memory is to use his arm. He's out of the box. He made a slight misjudgment. We never would have been under the pressure for that to happen if they wouldn't have fucking sent David Luiz off for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's completely bogus.
Yeah. And I think Leno, a lot of people are not really mentioning the fact that when you're watching the game, you don't realize that it is pissing rain.
Yeah.
Like it is pissing rain. It was really rainy and tough conditions. That ball took a crazy bounce. You're out of
for sure. And it's like, yeah.
And if you like, you know, if you don't, you know, make contact with it, or
if you don't have your arms behind you or your arms up, you're
giving away a goal. And he was feeling like, oh shit, if I completely miss it, or if I just like chest it and it goes forward right to Traore or something, that's a goal. So I might as well just like take it. You know, it's really unlucky. But then again, yeah, like you said, you know, that probably doesn't happen if we're not in that situation in the first place. We have
totally. I mean, we're under pressure. We're trying to move forward, trying to win the game still. And I mean, no disrespect to Wolves in this, like, because they've been a decent team overall, but we should have smashed them the other day. We were firmly in control before all of that.
Totally.
I mean, Saka hit the post in within 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then that great finish that was barely. And see, this is the thing too about VAR is like, was it meant to make there be less goals in the game? Do people like to watch a game when there's less goals? Like living in America, what's the most common complaints about soccer? Oh, there's ties and they don't score. Yeah. You have to wait 1,000 years for them to score a goal and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well,
because we have basketball and football and all these things that like the scores get so big, so Americans just don't, they don't resonate
Yeah,
with
if you
football as
don't
much.
know about like good passes and defense and stuff, you're gonna be bored. But
Yeah.
I mean, really, even that goal with Lacazette, or there's been countless ones where they say in the build up to the play was offside. It's like, what the fuck is that, man? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
Like
mean,
build
and that's
up to
not,
the play,
and
call if you wave your flag offsides, then it's fucking offsides. But if not, if it's a hair's breadth offside in the build up, not even to the goal,
I
you
don't like
shouldn't
VAR
move
used
on
in off. I don't like VAR used in offside at all. I think they should remove VAR from offside decisions in general. Here's the thing, and I've refed a number of fucking games from the line and the middle, like collegiate level and high school and whatever. I mean, even a couple pro games. But like, there's the the point of the game, and this as a player, there is a little leeway there. If you're a foot off, or like you timed your run perfectly, like to be meeting them as the ball's played. I mean, we're humans. We can only see a certain amount of things on the line. You're listening for the ball. You're watching where the defender's at. You're watching where the forward's at. We were never meant to have like a computer deciding that line. Like, if
and like the armpit, and
I
honestly,
mean,
dude, even with the computer doing it, when I see them, how many times have you seen them take forever and
draw the line.
little fucking
Yeah,
lines, and then you're like, okay, I'm looking at the lines, the dude is onside, and
yeah,
they call it offside, or vice
I
versa,
know.
where they're
It's
like,
like they
no,
don't see
it's
it.
the goal, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I'm looking at this, and you did all the little
Yeah,
fucking lines and everything.
and I even think that that part, the line drawing and stuff, like that's taking away from the game itself. The one part about the game is that there's a little bit of like leeway in there, and I think that little leeway with our human untrained eye, like to not see it exactly perfectly, makes the game a little bit better. He might be a toe offside, but like, are we really getting down to like this much as offside?
Is that an unfair advantage?
Yeah,
The
like
whole
come
point
on,
of
like,
offsides was made so
so
Locke
someone's not standing by the goal.
the keeper and cherry pick.
Exactly. This isn't.
Like, are we
I
thinking
mean,
about the
you're
spirit of
talking
the game here?
yeah, like 6 inches. Like, is it really going to make that big of a difference? If you can't make up the 6 inch difference in the run as the defender, that's your bad. Like,
Yeah,
defend better. Be smarter about how you're setting up your
it's hard
defense.
enough to score goals in the game of soccer.
Yeah,
We don't need to make it harder.
totally. Yeah.
Like in golf, they're thinking about making rules where you can't just hit a drive for 400 yards and be already on the green and
What
two cut it in. So they're making like
yeah,
rules about that, and you feel like, okay, maybe it's getting too easy to do well. So we need to make it a little harder because it makes it more
sure.
fun.
Yeah.
Soccer, it is not easy to score a goal in any league,
No.
definitely the Premier League. It's hard. So why are we making it harder? Does that make
Yeah.
it more fun to watch?
Like outdoor on a big pitch, you're right. It like, no matter what level, you could be playing like just whatever kind of pickup or whatever. It's still hard. There's 22 people out there. For you to get in near the goal and to like put it in there, it's a
Hard.
hard sport.
And then you
And
see a goal like Saka, excellent finish. They're all cheering, everyone's happy, and then buzzkill. Nope,
yeah.
not the goal because Lacazette, his armpit was an inch past, Cody's armpit when he headed it back to Saka for a great finish. Like, wow, and yeah, we're talking about Arsenal right now, but it's for everyone.
It's
If
for yeah,
him gets goals because you changed the rule, good. I
yeah,
want to see
yeah.
more goals in soccer. I don't want to see celebrations and then being like, nope, that's not a goal. Sorry.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just bullshit. And then when it gets to the end of it, the game's over. Arsenal appealed David Luiz's red card, as they should, because he should have been sent off. And in the court of arbitration, held by the FA, straight denial. Like, I mean, it's to the level that is corrupt. That is not a system that you like. Football people, they've been in the game for a long time. They know the game. You can't logically look at that and be like, that was a red card.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
the question becomes, was there even contact?
yeah, And
that is the question. And maybe you say there was because he lifted his leg and kicked his leg against David Luiz, and that's all there is to it.
but that's
David
his
Luiz
fault. It's
was
not
not
his
his
fault if,
leg was forward, his foot
yeah,
was backwards. Like
yeah.
that's the question when you look at it. It's not a question of
And
is it a red card or not.
Leno had it covered almost. Like I think when you watch it back, like Leno does slide to it. Who
It's
knows if he would have even scored there? I mean, I think Luis, we rag on Luis a lot, and I still, when it happened, you're like fucking David Luiz, but
yeah.
like to his fair, he did back off of it and
No, it
wasn't trying.
wasn't. Yeah. And you know what? I think the ref thought that too. He's like, "Oh, well, David Luiz is being David
Yep,
Luiz."
yep, yep,
So
yep,
obviously,
exactly.
it's like you refs have to be a little bit more objective in that sense. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they and
Like
and I mean the referee made a number of decisions the other day that were just bogus. Like no fouls. We don't get fouls called for us in general.
I mean, there's things that happen, and like obviously we're biased, and people are going to say like we're blaming the ref and everything. But I swear to goodness, man, things happen against Arsenal, and they just let it play on, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah, I know.
what did I just see here? Like there was a play in the Wolves game where the dude just raked his cleat down Xhaka's entire calf, like openly, just
Oh
like
yeah,
stepped on him and raked it down.
and was
Down,
that
and they're just like, oh, play on, play on.
same in the United game? It happened to Xhaka from Bruno Fernandes. I mean, Bruno Fernandes went dirty on Xhaka in that game from behind, and nothing. It wasn't even a foul called. I mean, where's the consistency in these? Like,
I
I
mean, I'm
mean,
cool with we don't have to. We can play a physical game,
yeah,
but you're giving red cards to people for similar offenses, or you're giving a red card to David Luiz for the other dude kicking him and falling down. And then this shit is happening. Not even a foul, not even a yellow. Like there's clear chances where it's like, okay, you don't have to give him a red card. I don't want that kind of advantage, but that's not a yellow card offense. Like
I
it's
mean
mumbling.
that referee had a calamitous game in general. Like when you end the game when a team has two red cards and you look back at the videos of them and you're like questionable on either one. And I mean, Leno's, I mean, sure, he's out of the box, used his hand somewhat. I guess you gotta send him off, but like I don't know. Even
Was
in
that
that
a
sense,
clear
I would have
opportunity? Not
no, not really.
necessarily.
That dude wasn't even close to him.
Like, is it a
Who would
rule?
have if he let the ball go? It was so wet, the ball might have just gone out of the touchline. Like he wasn't within 10 yards of him. How would we have known that he would have gotten to the ball?
Yeah. I mean, is it a rule that if a goalie uses his hand outside the box, it's an automatic red card no matter what?
No, it's not. It's not. That's not the rule. It's a yellow card. I mean, it doesn't have to be an immediate red. I mean, they set up the game like FIFA's organized the rules to be a certain way. Fouls are categorized three ways:
Yeah.
careless, reckless, or malicious. Malicious is automatic red. Reckless is a yellow, and careless is a foul. And
I
then
was
the other part,
careless because he was outside
yeah,
the box and used his hand like, oh crap. You
yeah,
know, if say he comes out of the box and loses it at his feet and Traore is running, has the open goal and goes to kick it, and Leno's still out of the box and he dives and bats it away with his hand,
that's completely different.
red card.
Yeah,
And yes, it
or he
was
tackles him outside the box, or
but it's like it's not the same situation.
and what about and here's the thing, like that game where we won before United, where Saka scored around the goalkeeper. I'd say the day that happened, the goalkeeper should have almost been booked in how he pressured Saka outside the box. He tried to foul him. So where's the consistency there on the goalkeeper attempting to denying a goal scoring opportunity in that sense?
Yeah.
Where he's trying to dribble around outside the box. I mean, if he makes any contact, would he have been sent off?
Probably not. I mean, Arsenal really has never gotten good calls. Just like we get shit that it's like, fuck, dude. And I have this theory that like Arsenal or like Kroenke, like you got to pay the FA under the table. You got to pay these journalists under the table. There's some kind of thing that it seems like Manchester United is like very good at.
Yeah. Where
You
they're
know,
like,
we're just like, no, we're not going to do that because they're cheap. And like we just get the shaft on all these little things that sort of add up, you
and it
know?
makes sense. I mean, Manchester United has more penalties every season than anyone else.
Yeah. Is that a coincidence?
No, they're not. I mean, what are they
Who has-
diving more? I mean, Martial dives a lot. I mean, they have a lot. They're built in diving, that team for sure.
I
But
mean,
like,
but they don't have a reputation for diving to where they could get a
no.
legitimate foul and the ref is like, no, you dive all the time. So I'm not going to give you, you
And
know,
what happened to the
that too.
booking for diving?
Yeah. It's very inconsistent, you know,
It
or like
is.
they'll have things in Arsenal where they don't call a foul. Like Pepe will get hacked, straight up hacked, and they don't call a foul. And it's like, well, if you don't call a foul, then you have to give Pepe a yellow card for diving. That's how
That's how it
clear
works.
the
Yeah.
situation was. Like an incident happened. It was either Pepe is diving or he got straight up hacked. But just being like play on, we get so many just play ons.
Yeah. I mean, the shame is there's a lot of positives to take from the Wolves game in the first half. Like, till the game turned, I mean, we were dominating. I mean, it was one of those games that you were like, oh, this is easy for them today.
I was
Like
I was thinking it was one of the better games we played all season. In
100%.
I was like, wow, this looks good. We're
I mean,
attacking
and
fluid. We're all over the place.
I don't blame them for losing the other day. I'm actually not even mad at Arsenal for losing. I think that they got very unlucky in the game. Like,
I'm down to 9 men, and it was still 2-1.
yeah, they
Off of
held together.
world, off of a
Yeah.
fucking worldie.
Yeah, that dude hit a great shot. It was
Like that would
I
have
mean,
scored if we had 12 men on the field.
for sure. I mean,
Can't
he
do
he
anything
he
about
would
it.
have scored against anybody in the league with that.
The
So
thing
it's
we had guaranteed goals coming later. Like Laka looked just primed for one. Saka was primed for one. Pepe, dude, can we talk about the Pepe goal? It's
yeah,
unfortunate because that's overshadowed by this whole thing. He nutmegged two players and tucked it with his right foot. Like,
he's getting
yeah,
he's
dude.
get he's getting better. He seems to have found some form and some comfortability out there. He looks more relaxed recently. And that's encouraging to see because we were hoping that he wasn't just going to be a flop, a 72 million pound flop that didn't
Well, I
pan out.
feel like
But
I always believed in him
yeah.
because you see these glimpses of brilliance, like what he did. And also, he
And
was he was coming down the left, and we talked about this before too. Like
yeah.
he came through on the left, cut in. Like he can cut in on his right, on the left. Like let him do that because then if he's on the left and he doesn't want to cut in, he can take it out wide and at least whip in across or rip a shot near post or something. But when
Yeah.
he's on the right, he never looks comfortable.
No, he doesn't. And Saka looks comfortable over there. Saka looks comfortable everywhere.
Yeah, true. Saka is really emerging as a world talent, which is
Oh my God. I mean,
okay.
he was comfortable on left back. He's comfortable on left wing, right wing, through the
Yeah.
middle. Like,
But I mean, I really like the lineup, bar Xhaka,
yeah.
you know,
Which, God,
and he didn't play. And you know, honestly, like
he's been a little better lately.
Xhaka and Bellerin were fine, you know,
Yeah,
like
they were
not gonna just like harp on him or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like I'm getting a little worried that Odegaard is probably not gonna play ever, and then he'll just come and go, and it was like that was a waste, you know.
I think he will. I imagine that he's probably not match fit enough to start the entire game of the Premier League coming from Spain. I think that probably has something to do with it. Give him a couple weeks to work in. But I agreed. We got this world talent that's on our team right now that like give him a fucking chance. Like
No, because
I would say
Xhaka
bench
just guaranteed.
Xhaka.
I mean, he has a guaranteed starting spot, so we're
Yeah.
just stuck with that. Like, oh, we have the guy who was supposedly the next Messi, but we got to play Xhaka because you know he has had a very checkered, up and down, mostly crap season,
Yeah.
and whole
career.
Yeah,
I mean, I think and I think the writing's on the wall for Bellerin right now, at least, because Cedric is quickly earning his position in the first team, and that is, and he's doing it while Tierney's having a break, getting his hamstring fit or whatever. Cedric is very good even on the left side.
True.
I
Cedric
mean, I would
really found his form, which is great to see.
100. I'm very pleased with his performances. I think that he's been solid.
Totally.
I don't always understand the David Luiz thing, but I think it's probably because he's a leader off the field and on the field, and he's one of those people that they're trying to make an example. But like, dude, Gabriel is a far better defender than Luiz is.
And whether or not it was David Luiz's fault, which I don't think it was, the dude just attracts calamity. You know what I mean?
He does. That's the word for it.
It's a red card in 2 seasons.
It's his third, right? Third or fourth? Well, it said there was a stat on the game that 6 penalties. 6 penalties since he joined Arsenal.
That's, it's like a forward will attract the ball where he can just get tap-ins, and you're like, well, that was kind of lucky, but it's like you create that luck.
For sure, you put yourself in that position.
And he's putting himself in the position to get fucking red cards and give up PKs.
Yeah, and he does it too often. I mean, 4 red cards and 6 penalties in your year and a half that you've been there. I mean, that's 10. That's 10 things that you
10 goals.
10 goals, 10 games that you've ruined
That's 30 points.
Yeah, that's
30 fucking points. If we're 30 points, if we give us 30 points, 15 last year and 15 this year, we're in Champions League.
And the really annoying, frustrating thing about the Wolves loss on top of it, I mean, we drew with United a few days before. That game was just, both teams were tentative. We played all right. I'd say we played well. We defended well. You can take that game as you will, but everybody's been losing. Everybody's been losing and drawing. The table's still so tight between us. That Wolves game would have put us way higher up the table now. So tomorrow we have to win.
Yeah. I mean, I think this season is, even when we're doing well, we get unlucky. Like, it's going to be a scratch. Ultimately.
It is,
So the good thing is that, and I do think it's a karma game where, regardless of us losing, I think the world saw that and knew that Arsenal is a better team than Wolves.
Oh yeah.
I think they saw Pepe, they saw Saka, and they're like, we're scared of them. If you see Pepe score with his right foot the way he did that way, that means you can't just give him the right foot. He's a left-footed player. Make him play with his right. Now they can't do that. They're going to step off him. Other teams are seeing it, and the psychological effect of that game was that they know that Arsenal is not a bad team anymore.
Sure, yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of takeaways that are pretty great from that game. I mean, the first half, until the referee ruined the game and VAR ruined the game, I mean, we're the winner in that match all day. And
3-0, coasting kind of game in the second half.
And we got to take this as it comes. Like I think we're starting to see this team grow into itself. And like we thought of in the beginning of the season, if we keep removing the fringe players that we don't want and we have the right players in the team, like, we have a really good side.
Yeah, because the normal progression for a team that's doing well is that you have to earn your spot, and then your consistent performances justify why you're in the team. And if you get off that rubric, then everything is fucked, because no one knows what they're doing it for. You know what I mean? Like, your motivations get all twisted. And for so long, going back to Wenger, we had players who would get on the field and no one could tell you why they were on the field. You had players that were on wages that no one could tell you why they were getting that amount of wages, and that for so long. And with Ozil was the culmination of it, was a player who wasn't earning his spot, but was getting his spot or was getting his attention or getting his wages and sucking all of the energy towards him, but it was misdirected because it wasn't based on what was happening on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that feeling of we don't know what is what or what team is going to show up, or we could lose or win any game. But now it's starting to be like, no, you're justifying yourself because players are actually stepping up. Saka has full on stepped up from an up and coming youth with great potential to a solid, one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Same with Emile Smith Rowe. Like they made that step. And for so long, players just weren't making that step.
I mean, Emile Smith Rowe, I mean, you might as well give him the number 10 shirt. He's not going anywhere. He's probably my first name on the team sheet right now. I mean, overall, his movement and activity on the field in every game that he's played in is superb.
Definitely.
He makes very few errors. And the kid's 19. 20. He's 20. And I mean, he's only going to get better.
I know. He's only going to get more comfortable so where he can put an even more razor sharp pass through the lines, you know?
And I'd love to see him and Odegaard play together.
Totally.
I think it's doable. I mean, I know they're probably similar, but like Odegaard in the United game came in the United, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked comfortable. He looked fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get as many touches probably, but he was only on 18 minutes or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope he gets.
And then the other day, Wolves, I think he probably would have come on if there wasn't the disaster that we had.
How many games since Arteta's been in charge has the situation been just throw the game plan out the window? Like when we played Man City, his first match, I think one of his first matches, and Mari got fucking injured for like 9 months after 20 minutes. Then David Luiz gave a handball and a PK for a goal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Something where you gave up a freaking goal, you know, and
anything with David, yeah.
And then it was like, okay, well, we were gonna put in Martinelli for this guy or something, and now it's just like, oh fuck it, you know. Now we're playing with 9 men, put everyone in the back.
I think the scariest thing about tomorrow's match is that Runnerson has to play goalkeeper.
The dude looks terrified.
Scared. He looks scared.
You see when Ardero was like, go and take the free kick. He ended up doing a good ball into the box.
Yeah, he actually made a couple of good saves. He didn't play bad when he was in. He just looks lost. Like he looks like this is like way. I mean, for him, he's now in the Premier League. He's pretty inexperienced. I guess the report is that he was always going to be the number 3 for a while, but I don't think they initially bought him as a number 3. They might be saying that now, but I mean,
I got him in the fucking first place. That's definitely one strike against. Like Willian and Runnerson are big mistakes. Like Edu has not been 100%.
Well, and I mean, I think the Willian thing is pretty obvious. Like they got it. They've even stopped playing him as much. He's just not, dude. He's not performing for us at all. I mean, I haven't. Besides that first game where he got 3 assists, I was like, fuck. I was like, great. I was like, that's a great pickup. We won 3-0. He was involved in every goal, and then from that day on, he hasn't done anything.
Well, I mean, who was looking at Willian throughout his whole career and being like, he's going to be a starting number 10?
No, he's
a utility outside winger, you know?
Yeah, and he
in a Premier
League. And did he? I mean, I know he scored a decent amount of goals for Chelsea and played well there, but like I never thought he was like a main fixture there. You never like referred to him at Chelsea, be like, oh, that Willian guy is like really good.
Yeah, he was just kind of a utility player for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's a weird Runnerson tomorrow.
What happened to Matt Ryan?
I think he's injured. I don't think he's been fully fit yet.
I mean, was he injured when we signed him? What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Another player is there something about the training ground at Arsenal? How many players get injured in training? Martinelli got injured in training. This keeper that we just got.
Is he injured right now, Martinelli?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him.
I mean, he got taken off tactically in the one game, but I thought he was playing really well that day at halftime when he got taken off.
I mean, of all the players to take off at halftime, it wasn't Martinelli,
He's
and not for Will.
no,
Like,
no, and he's way
there's
he
something in
works
the contract, I swear, where it's like you
there
have
must be.
enough chances, and they're trying to be like, okay, let's burn through the chances that we have to contractually give this dude so we can just get him the fuck out of there, because no one in their right mind takes off Martinelli in that game to put on Willian.
No, Martinelli's energy is just you want his energy on the field in general. Like we've all played with people like that where the person just is super high press and like really forces errors, like Nketiah. Nketiah forces the goalkeeper into weird positions all the time. He's very good at that and can nick goals that way. Those two players, far better in my opinion than Willian and Xhaka, anyone in those other player positions that don't really are lackluster for the most part.
Yeah, it just seems like there's always at least one player on the pitch who it seems like we're forced to do it, because you feel like if anyone else, if you take any of the managers in the Premier League, not a single one of them would have made that choice.
No. It must be a contract thing. You must be right. I mean, I think we've always heard all these weird things about their contracts and what they have written into their deals at Arsenal. And like the Bellerin thing, I think he has a thing that he has to play. And I think Ozil had that, and that's why he didn't make the team. Because if Ozil didn't make the team in general, at least contractually in that part, he's not in the team. But if he's in the team, he has to play or be on the bench or whatever. And so like that was a way around that. And thank God that they've been making some moves. We got rid of Mustafi, which
huge.
Well, and he's
no longer
he was
club. Like
and he was talking shit. He was like public. Him and Ozil, like the club should have just fined them, like and held their wages, because their public like display of how they were talking about the club should have gone against what their contract says. Like you shouldn't be allowed to just talk shit about your employer and with no consequences.
No. And they're always just taking little pot shots. And it's like, dude, the last thing I remember Mustafi doing was when we lost to Man City in the cup. They cross a ball. He's the center back. He ducks under it. Two dudes headed in, and then immediately he's just waving his arm like it must have been up. And it was like, no, man,
no,
just flat out are terrible. And he's done that since he came.
Thank God we got rid of. I think we had a successful transfer window though in general. We got a new goalkeeper and Odegaard and got rid of a lot of players.
Yeah, a lot of players that it seemed like it was hard to. It's harder to get rid of players than you think. You know what I mean? Like than we would.
And like I mean, Willock and Niles, good players. I don't see their long-term future at Arsenal. I don't see them ever blossoming to be like. I'd say that the bar has been set now with the youth as Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka. If you're not on their level, you're not in the team.
It's true. I mean, of that crew, so there's like Reece Nelson. I'd put Maitland-Niles, Willock, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Nketiah, and Nketiah's on the bubble.
Yeah, I think he's good. I think he just dude. He has Aubameyang, Lacazette, Saka, Martinelli, Pepe, all of these guys in that mix.
And then you throw him in
a hard crew to break into.
Minutes, and he's supposed to do. You know, it's tough, and I like Nketiah a lot, but I still think he's on the bubble.
Yeah.
But totally. And the thing is like you have a great crop of players. The ones that step up, you keep, and the ones that don't fully fit in, you sell for as much as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, like we should make
$1
million off of Reece, minimum.
Yeah.
I like all these. I like Willock too.
Me too. I think they're all good. It's just that like if they don't come back from their loan spells, Willock and Niles, and they're not better for preseason, I think it's time to maybe consider letting them go permanently. You can't just keep loaning players.
I know
Like,
this loan business gets out of hand a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
and COVID definitely has to do with this season. I think what the Sky, I was watching Transfer Deadline Day, like on my, like had it on, and they were like 80% of all the deals that have gone through in this window have been loan deals for everybody.
yeah,
It's just the market right now.
cash right now,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's the
yeah.
way.
And summertime, as the virus hopefully gets better, as vaccines get widely dispersed around the world, I hope that things can start to return to normal for next season. Maybe we'll have some fans back, some more revenue. People might be making more permanent moves in the summertime. It's always easier to do in the summertime. You have more time. At least we'll have like a proper break. But then we have the Euros.
It's really crazy, this fixture list. At a certain point, players are going to break down. You know what I mean?
They already are. I mean, Klopp the other day said, my team just looked tired.
Yeah, it's like they're not mentally or physically fit.
Yeah.
How can they be? People think
No.
that this is just they should play every single day, and I want highlight reels left and right.
It's brutal. I played Wednesday night for 2 hours outdoor, and I'm so sore today. Like it's hard to walk. I didn't even have a high impact game. It was pickup. It was like a jaunt about. I mean, the competition wasn't even that great, and I'm very, very, and I've been fit. I'm very sore today. For them, I can only imagine. How hard an impact game is.
Unbelievable.
Knox hurt.
Yeah, you get kicked in the shin, or your foot stepped on.
Like, you get lumps.
They wear this big,
and they're metal.
and it's cold as shit outside. So when your feet are freezing and you get stepped on your foot, like it freaking hurts for a couple days.
They go hard in training too, like they have to. Like they straight up play trainings like they do games a lot of the time. Like there's been reports of saying like Tierney is like really rough in training.
Good.
And like good. I mean, that's the thing, is the game is rough. They have to be ready for how hard it is.
Yeah. I don't know. They need a
break. Despite that, I mean, we can move into tomorrow's match. I mean, we didn't really talk about the United game. I don't think there's a lot to discuss there.
We could have won. They could have won. Both teams, for the last few years, that game has been really tentative. Like
it has.
Both teams are a little afraid. They had a stronger side than we had, I think. I think we showed the world too, though, again, that, we're as good as them, and they were top of the table at one point, so.
Yeah, they're in second place right now. So we drew against them and matched them evenly. I mean, I was texting with a United friend, and he was like, this game looks really evenly matched in general. I was like, yeah, I mean, Arsenal, their table form of where they're at probably doesn't warrant how good they are. They had a really tough spell. I think that they found some good form. We need to rebound tomorrow, and we need to rebound against Leeds as well.
Yeah, totally.
Because we got City in 2 weeks, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah, and Aston Villa is where the low part in our season started. That game was pitiful.
Yeah. But we're in better. I think that we are going into tomorrow. They're going to be mad about the other day. They're going to be fucking pissed. And like, if when you get unlucky in games, you show up the next game like ready to make amends.
There's no reason why we can't beat Aston Villa. They're good. They're having a good season. They're a decent side. They're a good side.
Martinez had a howler the other day.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Oh man, it was brutal. It like straight through the hands, like just.
Yeah, that's rough.
He's a good keeper. It's a shame that we have Runnerson starting tomorrow and not Martinez, because we would.
I would prefer Martinez.
So what do you think tomorrow? We have the early game. You want to wake up for it? 4:45.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up for it, but whether or not I watch the full thing live is a different story, because it depends. Like that game against Southampton, I woke up at fucking 4 a.m. Then they put out Willian as starting. Fucking close, dude.
Willian.
The goal that they score, I'm like, fuck.
Just Willian in general. Like, Go away. It's like not. It's not good enough.
No, I really wonder. Arteta. I believe in him. I like him. I'm okay with him being our manager for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think he has a good idea. I think he has a good plan in place.
But he makes some decisions sometimes, and I really would love to hear why. I'd love to hear his.
Yeah,
And you'd have to respect that he knows more about the team than we do, but he does some things sometimes, and you're like, that's not what I would have done.
for sure. And I mean, I'm sure we don't have the full picture. We don't know the fitness. We don't know mentally like where they're at. Maybe I'm sure that there's so many things that go involved in them team selection, like on how tactically they think it's going to improve. I mean, I think manager wise, it's funny. We always like look at it like a week ago or something. Klopp took off Milner, and Milner was like pissed. He was like real pissed, and they immediately scored with the sub that he brought on. And he like went over to Klopp and gave him a hug and was like,
Yeah.
there are things that like we probably don't understand. I just there's so much involved, and they see something that maybe like, oh, we can exploit this section or something. But like Willian in general, I just don't see it. I haven't seen it all year.
I mean, I just
And
don't see if there's anything we're trying to take advantage of, or I just don't know what Willian does to where you could be like, we need that. If we
yeah,
need someone who could take free kicks, then I could be like, okay, he put him in there because hopefully we'll get a free kick around the box. But that's not
even that, like I don't the free kick stuff sometimes, like when they line up, I don't know how they decide who's taking what. Sometimes it's like, why the fuck is Xhaka taking a free kick? Why, you
we
know,
score one a season and that justifies it, I guess. But like
anybody can get lucky here and there.
for like the goals that he scores from the free kick, like he takes about 5 a season and scores one. Like if you can score one, why aren't you taking it more often? It's like because he doesn't step up. He never wants to step up. Every once in a while he'll step up and it works, but
What
most of the time
he's
he's
slow.
high on the field.
He slows the game down so much. I was listening to Talk Sport the other day, and they were talking about Liverpool just in general, and that Thiago is maybe a terrible buy for them. He slows the game down so much for Liverpool, and Liverpool's a fast breaking team. And just fans were calling in and being like, he's so slow. I feel the same thing about Xhaka. Every time Xhaka gets the ball in the middle of the field, you're like, he's either going to go sideways or backwards.
Well, he's no matter what going to take a hefty touch.
Yeah.
You trap the ball, that's already that time right there has slowed the game down immensely. Like
totally.
You don't have much time. It's not easy. No one's saying it's easy, but
it's just got to be more fluid.
Trap it at your foot and you look down. If you have to look at the ball when you trap it, the time is over. You've lost it.
Of course.
That's the flow of the game. Like you need to be able to do it without looking, take a very quick touch and already be playing it.
Totally. Yep.
You
need to have he doesn't have it. Yeah.
If he has plenty of time, like he played a through ball to Pepe and against Wolves, and Pepe the goalie, I think, intercepted it just at the last second. But Pepe looked like he did it for Lille, where he would just be flying around there, like more like a center forward almost. And it was a good ball by Jacques. Like if he's sitting there standing as all the time in the world and sees a pass, he's capable of making that pass,
Certainly, yeah.
I mean, he's a professional soccer player. You would hope so. But in general, it's just like, oh man.
I hope that we pick a strong team tomorrow because it's going to be a tough game. I know that Villa isn't in the form that they have been in, but they're still playing good. They're ahead of us. They're by a point right now. Tomorrow is a big match.
Like 2 games in.
Yeah. And we need to win. We need to make up the ground on them. We need to make up the ground on everybody ahead of us.
We need to get up to 13 wins this season, minimum.
Totally. And here's the thing is we have a real opportunity this season, more than any season in the last couple of years, to get back into Champions League. And I think it's an obtainable goal for real. Like the table's close. I mean, Europa at least, but like really trying to get into the top 4 should be their goal.
Yeah, I think it's too much to ask. I think it's potentially possible. Are they a good enough side?
Probably not.
Yeah, well, I think like they're as good as whatever team will end up being fourth place. But when you have a game like, Wolves, like we needed to win that game, you have to account for a little drop in form. You have to account for unluckiness. And with all of those things, I don't know if we'll be able to make that.
I mean, we're in February right now. I mean, just given we have 9 losses right now, right?
Yeah.
You got to suspect we'd lose a couple more.
I mean, we have Man City. We still have to play Man City. We have to. Who else? We have to play
Chelsea, bro. Tottenham.
Maybe
Did
Chelsea.
Chelsea. No. I think we played them twice already.
Leicester, I think.
That's coming up soon. We play Leeds. We play our next few games is Villa, Leeds.
Whenever
City.
we play Brighton again is not going to be an easy game. They beat Liverpool. They're on a run.
Sheffield beat United. So I mean, like there's flukes out there. This season that's what I mean though. I know it's not going to be easy, but if you're Arteta and you are talking to the team, I would be saying, it's not doable. Like it is doable.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially the way we were playing against Wolves in the first half is like Wolves is having a little bit of a bad spell, but they're a good team. You watch them play; they are a good team. They're an organized.
Traore is scary. Matinho is good.
They're an organized team with capable players with weapons.
Absolutely. And it's a shame that they did the double over us this year.
Well, that first time we played them was one of our worst games of the season. That had me furious.
Yeah. And the other day was just straight unlucky.
Yeah. There's definitely an improvement in the squad, and we're capable of doing a lot. But I think making up top 4, we have to go on a solid 6-game winning streak, and
again.
Yeah. We need another hearty 6-game wins in a row, not without losing, no tie.
I think the only benefit to that is like we are finding form overall. Like, the United game, we got a draw. We had a weird game against Wolves that we ended up losing. I think a few things here and there, and we're looking at a different season. I mean, I'd say if they can put together some wins, you got to expect that you probably won't win against City. They're probably going to win the league in general.
I don't see they could maybe not lose.
Remember a game the rest of the season.
They had to win like 14 in a row to win it, and they did.
They're
on 13 in a row right now.
Yeah. They're solid right now.
They got the record when they had like 17 wins in a row the year the Centurions. I don't see why they can't do it again. I don't see anyone breaking them down,
No. Yeah. What do you think for tomorrow? What do you think is going to happen? I'm nervous because of Runnerson in there.
Nervous because of Runnerson. I like the fact that we have Partey in there to deal with Grealish.
I mean, he looks just quality. I mean, the announcer said it the other day when the Wolves game in the first half, and he was like, every day that Partey is playing in this team, he looks better and better. I mean, he's very good.
Yeah, even Roy Keane was saying like he's going to be a good player for Arsenal.
Yeah,
he had those duels with Vieira, so he's comparing him to Vieira, and he's giving him his for Roy Keane to say that about an Arsenal player. That means he must really, really rate him because
Roy Keane doesn't say that about anybody.
It's Arsenal and thinks they're weak. So to give him
credit. He just looks very comfortable on the ball when he gets it in the middle of the field. He could easily beat a couple players, even in the back of the field. He beats people. Then he plays like really nice passes through, gets the game moving forward. Xhaka is like 1% of even what Partey is, and Xhaka I think we need to cut the dead weight and get rid of Xhaka altogether. I don't see him.
I know what's going to happen is next year we're going to be looking at the brand new season, and the starting lineup is going to have Xhaka in it. I just know it. You know,
I hope
maybe.
you're wrong because he's garbage.
Well,
He's
the thing is,
garbage.
like Cedric played in front of Bellerin and had a great game, and then all of a sudden it's like Arteta's head got turned. It seemed like,
Yeah.
but he needs to let Odegaard start in front of Xhaka, and if Odegaard completely sucks, then what else can you really do? But
Yeah.
if it goes on and all of a sudden the team looks just in general looks so much better, hopefully we'll learn from that.
I mean, I hope that he gives Odegaard a chance tomorrow. I think that tomorrow is a good game for him to play in.
And he needs solid. I feel like he needs to start. You know what I
He
mean?
does. He needs to not come on as a sub.
You throw someone in the 78th minute, like, what do you expect? Hopefully they get a goal or something like that. But
and finding the flow at that point of the game is hard for anybody.
Yeah.
It's way easier to grow into the game.
Like the number of touches that you're going to get when you come on in a sub in the 70th minute.
In the Premier League.
You start. Like, you might only get 3 touches in the later stages of the game.
Yeah.
And it's not like play it to him, 1 touch, pass back. Like, that's all you could do. You can't try to do more than that,
Sure, yeah.
So hopefully he gets a look.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think you got a prediction for tomorrow?
Predictions with Arsenal are...
Predictions with the league in general are hard.
Yeah. 3-2 Arsenal.
Are we home or away?
Hopefully we're away because we seem to play way better away.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. We are at Villa Park. I'm going to say 3-1 Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, we can still field a strong side because Gabriel, and obviously Rennerson will be, not as optimal, but we can still field like solid.
Who's his backup?
I don't know. We got rid of Macy,
right? So who's the second keeper on the bench tomorrow?
Someone from the
Aubameyang?
Yeah. Who's the tallest dude?
I mean, Aubameyang, they've showed some clips in training before of Aubameyang playing goalies. He looked decent.
I'd probably throw Tierney in there.
Yeah, he'd be scrappy. Drive the knee on everything. And
yeah, Rennerson doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. He just seems he's nervous. He's visibly nervous, and that's understandable from a human perspective, but it's not what you want to see from a sporting perspective.
Yeah, I think that is the worry for tomorrow. I mean, hopefully we set up a strong team ahead of him. I wish Tierney was in. I wish Cedric would be on the right.
Is Tierney, what's his deal, man?
He's got like a hamstring issue, I think. I don't know. I think that dude pushes it hard. So he's just.
We just can't get a solid run with like our full team,
That's that's always our issue.
Yeah. Like we haven't had a run of like, we need 10 games in a row with the
starting 11
team of our best side.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tough with this kind of season in general, because I don't think anyone can do that. Liverpool certainly can't, for example. But still, like, as soon as someone gets going, they're out.
Yeah.
But in general,
well, I hope that we pull something off. I'm going to be up for it tomorrow. I'm sure you will be. And we're only going to have Villa to talk about really, and Leeds coming up. So I'm sure some things will happen in the next week for us to discuss next Friday. There's always something. I mean, how long's Leno out for? Was it a 3-match ban? Because
probably.
Because that's how it goes for us.
I mean, that's rough.
That's a lot. He's not going to be available for Villa, Leeds, City.
What happened with this Matt Ryan dude who was all pumped and ready to go, and
I hope maybe miraculously he'll start
Keeper.
tomorrow. That would be hope.
I wonder what his injury is.
Yeah, I feel like they just don't give us enough information sometimes. They don't.
Or like there's these players that like you're like, yeah, you're stoked about, and then you don't see him around, and you're kind of like, what the fuck happened to Saliba? What the fuck happened to Matt Ryan? And you're like, oh, well, he's injured. He's injured. And you're like,
Yeah,
when did he get in? He hasn't played.
yeah.
What I
Yeah,
mean?
when did he get hurt? Training, I guess training. I mean, they're there all day. Things happen.
Sort it out.
I feel like this is something that maybe we can talk about this next week, but the Arsenal injury crisis of every season seems to be a thing that's persisted for a long time.
Going back to
And
Van Persie, who would be out 6 months a year.
Walcott.
Fucking Wally Walcott, dude.
I mean, how many of these players have we seen that have like
Ramsey.
literally been Ramsey? They've been on the treatment table more than they've been on the field, and
Ozil.
it's just yeah. I mean, Ozil just Jesus. I'm so glad that he's gone. I'm elated that they've cut the dead weight from them, canceled the contract. I mean, I like the Ruth. I mean, granted, we lost money on all these players, but like at least they're being a little more ruthless.
And hopefully we just won't make the same mistake. Like you don't buy Xhaka and Mustafi for 70 million and put them both on 110,000 a week. Like
exactly.
Oh, because no one else would pay that.
Or like, Willian. I mean, they made a bad decision in the summertime. They put Willian on 200,000 a week.
That's absolutely insane. It's criminal.
It is. It's what were you thinking? In the middle of coronavirus, there's no fans. You know, there's probably not going to be fans for the season, and you buy a player who's 31 or 32 at the end of his career
for 3 years
on a 3 years. I mean, that's
Willian is a player you get kind of like how Tottenham got like Joe Hart. You know, it's like
yeah.
We need an extra player. He has experience. He's floating around. He's not going to be the main keeper. He's not going to be the main guy, but sure, we'll pick him up. He'll be a good squad player. But you don't put him on a 3-year deal for 200 a week. Like,
I mean, Tottenham look terrible right now.
It's almost hard to watch, you know,
because they're so boring.
Yeah, I don't want Tottenham to win the league or something, but I also don't like getting caught in a mode where I want teams to lose, you know, like I want to watch and be like, oh yes, like Man United is losing, because that's just that kind of
you want to win by being the best, by beating the best.
Yeah. But to see Tottenham, it's almost hard to watch because it's like they're crap, and they're crap because you know they would be, because Mourinho's cynical style doesn't work if Kane gets injured. It doesn't work if Son has a bad game. It doesn't work if a million other things happen, and they're bottle jobs for sure.
Totally. It's, you know, I don't like to watch Tottenham do well. I also don't like to watch them struggle in the terrible way that they are. So, I mean, I hope that we finish ahead of them this season. I don't know if it's possible, but
we should.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week, though, and continue our live streams, and we'll come at you live every week because it seems to be a little more fun for us as well. We were already doing it that way in our mind. So
definitely.
We'll be back, hopefully with good news for tomorrow's match.
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.